Hi guys, this is Tina. Welcome back to my channel. So we are here for another one of our mass making sessions, and what I thought we could do today is mass make some of the double folded book page pockets that I did a tutorial on recently. So I have grabbed along a stack of book pages. I've actually got four stacks of book pages. So I'm obviously thinking I'm going to be really mass making today, and I've also got lots and lots of both scraps, you know, small pieces that I have left over, and full sheets of just printed things, you know, on regular copy paper, so that I'm not going to bulk my pockets out too much. Of course you could use your scrapbook papers and things like that. I would probably recommend not the thicker sort of scrapbook paper, if that makes sense. So I'm going to clear this off of the surface first, and then we'll just get started as we normally do. So I'm just popping that all to the side. So all I'm going to do is start by talking you through the first one or two that we do, and then, you know, I'll be quiet about the process and we can just have a nice time, relax into it, and get cracking. So, right, so for the first one, all I'm going to do is take 3 book pages. I have a feeling in the original tutorial I took 4, but I'm going to take 3, and I'll show you why in a second. So basically I'm going to take the middle of those pages, because this one's going to be my back. This is my first pocket, and all I'm going to do is fold it down roughly in line with the corner, like that. Okay, so that's my first pocket. Now my next page, I'm going to move down the page like that, and all I'm going to do is exactly the same, doing again another fold like that. So you've then got your 2 pockets there. Now the reason why I say on the first tutorial, I think I did a book page here as well, which I reinforced it with. But what I thought we could do here, because, you know, we're all about getting rid of our scraps and things like that, is I thought we could just do with our scraps covering the back of the book page. So I'm going to just take my glue, and I'm just going to stick my first piece of paper onto here, and this will just make this, you know, thicker and more robust really. So we'll just pop that on there like that, and then what I'm going to do is just glue this triangle here, just glue that down. And I know that I've said this before, but I mean, you know, I do often find my methods kind of change as I create things. Just because I did it one way, you know, doesn't mean that you can't vary your methods. If you find something else that works better for you, then by all means change up, you know, how you're doing it. So that's those like that. And then all I'm going to do is obviously stick those together. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to just trim this down here at the edge like that. Now I tend to like to trim, you know, cut into my, like, what do you call it? Just so I'm cutting away from the open edge. So I'll just sort of roughly gauge where I want to cut that, and I'm just going to cut that down there. Okay, and then all we're going to do is glue, and again, of course, you could use your sewing machine for this part. If you're just joining me for the first time, I'm not, because my sewing machine is just not, you know, it's not handy for me. Okay, So I will just glue that down like that. And then you're just going to take your next one and exactly the same, you're just going to glue that across there. And that's it. That's your pocket made. So super simple. I mean, again, if you watch my channel a lot, you'll know, I mean, I never ever do anything that's not super simple. I only do easy, so it could not be easier. Okay. And you know, you don't have to even pop some background page. If you want to have yours as book page here at the back, then by all means you can leave it as book page here. I think the decorative paper looks quite pretty, but feel free to mix yours up as you wish. Just trimming this up because I've made a hideous job of cutting that bottom bit. So that's our first one. I'm going to talk you through another one or two, and then you know, I'll stop going on about what we're doing. So again, I'm just going to take 1, 2, 3 like that. And for this one, I have got a scrap here of my background pages that were my Christmas gift to you guys. And again, I'm just going to fold this down nicely from the corner. Oops. These book pages aren't really the best. For some reason, they're, you know, they're quite terrible. Okay, so I'll just glue that down. Like that. Okie dokie. And then I'm going to glue my background page on. And to be fair, you know, that might be better actually that way up. So I get rid of the patterned part, because obviously that's just a scrap. So a lot of the pattern's actually missing. I'm just going to pop it upside down, and then I have a plainer part showing like that. I'll just pop some glue along there because obviously I hadn't quite glued it down to the bottom. So that's that. And then I'm just going to take my next one. And I mean, if you want to make sure that you're lining it up properly, you may want to fold it like this. Oops, I think I've actually made a worse job of lining that one up. And then you can obviously turn it over, and that might just help you get your lined up pockets a little bit easier. It's completely up to you. Like I say, there's no rules with this. You know, you may find a completely different method that suits you even better. So entirely up to you guys. Okie dokie. And then again, I'm just going to sort of pop that there. And, you know, this one here, you can see we've put quite close. We could put this one further down. So I'm just going to, again, trim that off of the back. And then we're just going to go in here. I think that's pretty jaggedy, you know, not straight at all, but that's fine. We can tidy that up. So again, I'm just going to then glue my book page down like that. Okie dokie. And then again down here across the bottom, and then we'll just pop that on there. So I mean, these are a great way to use up your book pages. Oh, talking of great ways to use up your book pages, I'm sure that most of you are watching Pam from the Paper Outpost. Oh my gosh, have you ever seen anyone have so many ideas, come up with so many ideas for their book pages? She's absolutely phenomenal. Just yeah, her mind must be just completely buzzing constantly with new ideas. So, and she does really fun videos. She's got a really upbeat, fun way about her. So if you haven't stumbled across her, which I'm sure probably most of you have, she's well worth watching. She's very fun. So that's that one. And as you can see, bigger than the last one. And the pockets are, you know, more spread about. So no rules. Completely up to you how you do yours. So we'll try one this time going to the other way, the right. So again, all I'm going to do is take that middle page and fold that along here at the crease, like that. And we'll just glue that straight down. So, I mean, already I think I've probably changed my method, because I have a feeling I didn't glue down the first one straight away. I might not have even glued down the second one straight away. So, you know, you can really see, play around, and, you know, it might be that you don't necessarily have a method. You might change your method per one that you make. And that's all good too. So just go down like that. And then again, I'm just going to then fold that over. Like that. I don't think I really got that very well lined up with the one beneath, but never mind. Right, that's a bit better. So I'll just glue this one down. Like that. Oops. And I mean, you know, I've obviously creased that over, but it's all fine. It's all going to be fine. So there we go. Now, I'm just going to pull in some of my book page, not my book page, sorry, my background pages that I put on the floor. And I'm just going to see which way round I want this. I might just have it up there, like that. So if I want it kind of up high, I'm just going to pop that roughly sort of next to the book page so that I can see approximately where to put my glue to. Like that. Okie dokie. And then that one and that one. So what I'll do now, oops, is trim this down. Like that. And then it just helps me to see where to cut the pocket, you know, on the front. So I think I'd like it about here. So again, I'm just going to then chop that down here, like that. Okie dokie. And then we'll just glue that down. Like that. Okie dokie. And then this one, going just across at the bottom, and then pop that down like that. Okie dokie. Looking good. So I'm just going to trim this one up because it's a bit tatty on the edge. And then obviously once that glue all dries, I can obviously tidy up the bottom if it needs tidying up. Oops, I must have had double book page there and not even realised. So there we go. So that's one going, obviously, as you can see, the other way. So equally cute and you know, nice and simple. So that's those. I will sort of be quiet now. Well, I won't be quiet, I'll be chatting, but I won't be talking you through so much now what we're doing, because obviously we've done a few, so hopefully we've all got the hang now of what we're doing. So again, I'm just going to tear the 3 down. I said I'm going to stop saying what I'm doing, and straight away I'm saying what I'm doing. Right, let's stop. I might also, sorry, just last thing quickly, I might make 1 or 2 just plain book page completely, so they've got no patterned paper whatsoever, but you know, that's fine, we can do that as well. Okay, so that's that one. Let me just grab some of my background pages in. So what did I bring along? Just check what I've done so far, because I don't want to just do the same old ones, because that would be quite boring for you guys to be watching. I've got loads here that I've got other things printed on the reverse. Oops, that's it. Oh no, that has got something on the reverse. Got loads here that I've got things on the reverse, so I'll get using some of those, because it's good to be able to use them up. Right. Yes, so I hope that everybody's having a good day. Hope that you are you know, getting some crafting done, and you know, that doesn't have to mean crafting along doing the same project as I'm doing. It would be fantastic if you are, but equally if you're not, I hope you're you know, hope you're having a nice time, whatever it is that you're doing. Oops. It's a horrible grey miserable day here, and the kids have just gone back to school. I'm filming obviously ahead, and the kids have just gone back to school after Christmas, so I'm a little bit out of the zone, because I've been trying to do a bit of admin this morning, catching up, and I had only filmed my mass makes up till last week, so I had to quickly do a mass make ready for tomorrow, which would be today, now you're watching it. And it's strange, because I always feel a little bit weird when the kids go back to school. You know, it kind of throws you off your game a bit, but it's kind of good to get some routine back, I think. So, I mean, I love having them home, don't get me wrong, but also it is quite good to get some routine back, and obviously for me it's quite good to be able to now get some work done. So I find it quite difficult to concentrate sometimes when they're at home, because you know that you're on slightly limited time. You know, it's only so long before you're going to get an interruption of some sort. I mean, my boys, obviously they're older, and so they're not really so likely to interrupt, but my daughter's still quite young, so you know, of course it's only normal that she's going to be needing a bit more attention and things. So, but anyway, she's gone back to school. She was quite looking forward to going back. My son, my middle son, he wasn't that looking forward to going back to school, so he's the one that was poorly before Christmas as well, and so he had been off for I think he was off the whole week before Christmas, or he might have been off just 4 days actually. Oh, look, you see, I was just busy talking, forgot what I was doing, and now I've not even glued my triangle down, so let's quickly do that now. Yeah, so he wasn't so much looking forward to going back, but it gets like that, doesn't it, once you're a teenager? You know, I mean, my daughter, obviously she's young, so she still loves school, because it's very much all about playing still, and you know, just having fun really. But I mean, once you get older, it's kind of a little bit more hard work, less fun, or more work, less fun. So yeah, he wasn't quite so keen as she was to go back, but there we go. I'm just going to trim that across at the bottom, and just a little bit there. I love spots, so for me, I really like this spotty effect on the background. Looks really nice. I should really check that I'm filming, to be honest. Yep. I couldn't quite see there whether I was or not. Right. Something now. Yep. So very sadly, well, I say sadly, I mean, please don't feel that you need to pass on your condolences. My nan passed away literally just before Christmas. So it was on the Sunday before Christmas. And I've talked about my nan before. She was 105. So it's by no means, sadly. I mean, of course, yes, we're sad because we won't see her again. But I mean, equally, it wasn't like it was unexpected. You know, she couldn't kind of go on forever. And to be fair, she had an amazing life, you know, and an incredibly long life. Her and my granddad, they travelled really a lot. They went to all sorts of places. I mean, they went to, I think, Hong Kong. They went to all sorts of places, to be honest. New York, lots and lots of places. And, you know, obviously this was a long time ago when people didn't necessarily travel like people do today. So they were very blessed, and they had a really long and happy marriage together. And, oh, it was just, yeah. So although it's sad we won't see her again, you know, it's kind of nice for her because she's now reunited with my granddad. And, yeah, you know, kind of a celebration of her life rather than sadness, because you can't really feel sad when somebody has lived such a long life, can you? And like I say, I mean, it's hardly unexpected, is it? So, yeah. Anyway, so she passed just before Christmas, and her funeral is not for a couple of weeks yet, but, well, 10 days, I think now. But yeah, she had a fantastically long life. And I was going to say, she, and I don't know whether I've said this before, but she actually left a letter, well, not a letter, but a note. She left several notes before she'd passed, and she'd asked my parents, you know, my mum and dad, could they you know, pass certain things to certain people. And I was so lucky because she'd left me her books and things. So I am still going through all those incredible and lovely books. And in one of the boxes where her books were, I mean, she didn't have a great deal left, to be fair, because she'd gone through this mad, strange phase for a few years now, actually, of chucking things out. So I don't know whether that's just something that older people do, but, you know, she would bin every single thing, literally everything. My mum and dad, when she was living, you know, away from us kind of thing, they would often arrive to find that she had literally binned really precious, lovely photographs, like lovely old photographs and things. And they'd try and salvage them out of the bin. And, you know, obviously there were times when that her bin would have been collected, and so they didn't manage to get things in time. So who knows what she's thrown away over the years, which, you know, what a shame. But there was a box that she'd, you know, was also kind of with these photographs and, sorry, books. And there was also a box which contained photographs, which are incredible. So I'm also going to be hopefully doing a sort of digi-kit of some of her wonderful photographs. I mean, obviously some are more like 60s and things like that, but there's a few really old ones. So, you know, I'm going to be doing that. But there were also these beautiful letters from my granddad to her, like in their early days of their marriage and their courting. I mean, lovely, lovely letters. He had written her, like, you know, 4 pages worth of letters in pretty small handwriting. It was when he was obviously away, you know, at war. And oh, they were just lovely, lovely letters, and so sweet. And he constantly was calling her the most lovely things, you know, diddums and sweetie and all these lovely, you know, sentimental phrases that he would use for her. So it felt slightly invasive kind of going through those things, but equally absolutely lovely to actually have like an insight into this gorgeous, you know, what would you call it, like their private world. Oh, it's just lovely. So I'm going to hopefully try and scan some of those letters in as well. One of the letters did make me laugh quite a bit though, because he'd obviously upset her, and he was kind of like saying he was sorry and all this stuff. And then it was really quite funny because he wrote something about, you know, oh, please don't be upset. You know, it really upsets me when you're upset. And then it said something about, I must say, you know, I was really disappointed to receive your letter. I had expected more than half a page. Because his letters were beautiful and, you know, were about 4 pages long. And he'd obviously really upset her because she had literally just obviously written him half a page back. So it did make me chuckle quite a lot when we all, you know, because we all obviously then looked through them, sort of my parents and I and things, and my husband and the children, we were all looking through them. And actually, and my sister was there as well. So yeah, we did all kind of laugh and said, oh, she had obviously really copped one, you know, because she only then wrote him half a page back, you know. And it was so sweet because he was obviously really upset. And yeah, she obviously kind of had a bit of a temper back in the day, or, you know, bared a grudge. But oh, they were just lovely. And I just thought, again, what a shame people don't write these lovely letters now, do they? Or perhaps some people do, who knows. But, you know, love letters and things, it's kind of just, it would be a love text now, I suppose. And actually, I don't think people really even do that now. It's, well, I dread to think what kind of texts go on, to be honest, nowadays. But it was very sweet reading these letters. So, yeah, really, really lovely. But yeah, so please, please, please don't feel that you need to kind of, you know, send any sort of well wishes, because honestly, you know, we said a toast to my nan at Christmas dinner and things like that, you know. We all kind of reminisced and laughed about things that she would have done or said. And yeah, I mean, really just, it's a celebration of her life. And I mean, my husband did kind of say, oh, you know, your family deal with grief so strangely. But I said, well, it's very hard to feel grief for somebody who lived that long. Because, you know, whilst of course it's sad we're not going to see her, you know, I mean, she had lived a really long life, and, you know, it wasn't like a massive shock. Of course she was going to be going soon, wasn't she? She wasn't going to live around forever. And it, you know, really kind of is more about how lucky she was in her life, you know. And I mean, I feel more grief when you hear about really sad situations with children and things like that, you know. That still makes me feel more grief than it would for my nan, because I just think that was in the right order. You know, she kind of lived her life and now she's passed. I mean, when you hear these awful stories of, you know, children suffering endlessly with sort of cancer and long-term illnesses and things like that, I mean, to me, that's far more worthy of feelings of grief, isn't it? So, yeah, you know, we're celebrating her life anyway. So, yeah, that was kind of that over Christmas. So, wow, that was a morbid start to the mass making for 2020, wasn't it? Wasn't supposed to be, as I say, not feeling morbid or anything else. Right, let's just chop this down just so it's smaller to use. As I say, I mean, I'm using these because it's really quite nice to just use the thickness of the copy paper. You know, for me, that just feels the right sort of thickness for this type of project, to be honest. So there we go. Yes, I've got a lot of things to catch up on now that the kids have gone back. So please bear with me if you've sent emails or anything like that. I am slowly kind of trying to get to things, but it's going to take me a little bit of time. And thank you so much for everyone's patience. You know, ordinarily I really do appreciate it. So there we go. And actually, I just want to just quickly say, I have had a couple of messages, you know, in the past, and I mean like a few months ago or a few weeks ago now, and now I can't for the life of me find them. I had a lady email me about a custom journal, and she wanted the theme to be the Count of Monte Cristo. No, I haven't seen that film, I have to say, but I did read your message, and then I meant to reply, and now I can no longer find your message anywhere. So if you're watching this and if it was you, please do feel free to email me again. I haven't, you know, ignored you intentionally. I just don't seem to be able to locate your message, and I've had that happen, you know, several times, to be fair. I had another person around the same time who'd emailed me wishing to be on my design team, and again, if you're watching this, I don't seem to be able to find your message anymore. So, you know, please feel free to email me. If I haven't replied ever to a message, it's not intentional. But sometimes what happens, I think, is, you know, like on your iPad, when it, you know, when you go into Etsy, it maybe goes in on the messages screen, even though you're actually going to a different screen, if that makes sense. So, I mean, you're not going to be loitering around on the messages screen. You've just opened the app to go into something else. And then what happens is you then, you know, you've closed that sort of messages screen then. I mean, this is just my interpretation of what happens, but I think then what happens is that then when you go in again, like say on your laptop, it thinks that message has been read because that message was open on the screen, if that makes sense. And so then that message just gets shifted down, you know, on the screen. And another thing that happens is sometimes I might open my message, say in, you know, on my iPad, but I don't overly like replying on my iPad. I don't overly like typing on there. So I might read the message on there thinking I'm going to reply on my laptop. And then again, what happens is obviously I then get a ton more messages. So that message has then moved down, you know, then obviously I forget, and then I can no longer find the message. So I'm not saying that message has actually got lost. You know, I'm saying I can't then locate that message, if that makes sense. So yes, I apologise for that. And, you know, if ever I don't reply to messages, just email me again. I mean, I'm not the fastest at replying, so, you know, please give me kind of a decent amount of time to reply. But I mean, I'm talking these were weeks ago. So, you know, of course, obviously I would have replied within weeks. And the other thing is my actual main email address, very, very clogged up because, you know, like you get all those ridiculous messages from everybody, like restaurants and shops and, you know, you name it, they are messaging you. And no matter how many times I unsubscribe, they're there again. So again, what happens is obviously the kids then use my email to say order something. You know, my son maybe orders his protein powder or something like that. And so then I'm then subscribed to, you know, all these weird and wonderful shops, you know, selling protein powder and gym memberships and all sorts of rubbish, you know. And so, to be honest, my inbox on my actual email address is just crazy. And I'm sure I'm not alone. I'm sure all of ours is. But, you know, so that's another thing is I kind of try and avoid going in there if ever possible. So emailing me at my shop is probably the most reliable place to actually email me, because I'm just more likely to get to it. Although, like I just said, I do then have those moments where I obviously lose the emails. So all that waffling, what I'm trying to say is, if ever I haven't replied to an email, first of all, I apologise. You know, I'm not intentionally ignoring people, but please email me again if after a few days I haven't replied, because it might just be that I've actually, you know, can no longer find your email. So yeah, I just wanted to quickly touch on that subject because it's something that has been bothering me for a little while, so I thought I would just quickly mention that. Okie dokie. Right, I'm going to do this one as the book page itself, which I think is how we did it in the tutorial. So I'm just going to leave it as book page in the background. Okie dokie. Oops. Like that. Oh, come on. Okay. Right, I'm just going to pop that on there like that and chop it down. And then what I'm going to do with this one, because I'm keeping the background as the book page itself, I'm just going to literally glue those two book pages together. So that's all I'm doing there. Oops. Okay. And then we're just going to glue this one down. Like that. And then we'll glue the front one on. Like that. Oops. Okie dokie. Like that. And again, obviously I'll probably trim that up when it's drier, because you know, I do find trimming it when it's a bit soggy with glue, it's not the best, to be honest. You know, that doesn't really work in the best way. So let's just have a quick count of how many we've done so far. So we've done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, we've only done 8. Now, have I been really slow today where I'm out of practice? Let's do a couple more, because I feel like, oh, 8's not very many, is it? We normally do 14. There's some pictures obviously on here, so I'll use that as the back page. I think, again, these are those Reader's Digest stories. So, I mean, I know I've mentioned it before, but you do have to be a bit careful with the Reader's Digest, because they're often, you know, contain words and things that aren't really acceptable. You know. So if you have that scenario, I mean, you can just literally cover them up. So I'm still obviously using them, but I will just cover them up if I spot some words that, you know, are not really kind of what I would want in my journal. Okay. yes, I have lots of exciting things planned for my channel, actually to the point where I don't kind of know where to start. Yeah, I think because I've been a bit poorly over Christmas and, you know, because the kids were home and things like that, I didn't obviously, you know, get round to filming so much. And so I've had all these ideas like going round and round my head. And I literally cannot wait to do them, to the point where I'm like, oh, where do I start? Where do I start? Because a lot of the videos, you know, it might be that there's a sequence to them. So it's like, oh, well, I can't really do that one before that one. I can't really do that one before that one. But it's just a case of fitting them all in and then working out some sort of schedule that will make a bit of sense. So you won't all watch them and think, what? You know, where's that come from? Never seen her talk about that before. Or something like that. But yeah, I have a lot of exciting things planned. So hopefully we're going to have a lot of fun this year. And hope that you guys will all be, you know, joining me for all of that fun. I'm being really rigid and ruthless. I'm throwing all of those pages away as I cut them off, and I mean, in some ways a bit wasteful actually, because, you know, there's plenty there I could use for other things, but I'm being ruthless and, yeah, getting rid of stuff as I go. Maybe that's going to be my aim for this year. As if that's going to pan out, you know. Get through all my stuff. I doubt that's going to happen, really. Right, let's do one more before we decorate one. So just do one more. 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll do another book page one. Okay. Has anyone else been watching the Christine Keeler series that's on BBC One? It's quite good. I think it's called The Trial of Christine Keeler. Oh, it's pretty good. Oh, the girl who plays her, she's just so pretty. Well, there's 2 girls in it. There's another girl who plays her friend. I think she's called Mandy. She also is very pretty, but yeah. I don't really know that much about that story. I know that it was the subject of that film Scandal all them many years ago. But I mean, I was quite young at that point when that film came out, so I didn't really get it particularly. Yeah, but it's quite a good drama. The only annoying thing is it's on like once a week, so we pulled it up on catch up and watched the first 2 thinking it was just maybe like 2 parts, only to then discover it's actually got lots of parts. So I think we've just watched part 3, you know, on the actual, you know, live TV. And it's annoying because I hate watching things like that. I really like to just binge watch. So if you haven't started watching it and you like to binge watch also, you might want to just hang on until they're all up there on the BBC iPlayer and then just binge watch the whole lot. So yeah, and I've heard lots of people talk about this thing called BritBox. So I think that's how like people in other countries can access obviously our channels. I don't know, but yeah, so if you've got BritBox, then it's The Trial of Christine Keeler, which again, you know, you may be, I don't know, maybe you have heard of that, maybe you haven't, I don't know. But yeah, lovely sort of clothes and all that kind of stuff, because it's like from the 60s and they all looked really effortlessly stylish, didn't they? You know, the girls, and they all had that gorgeous pretty makeup with their sort of black eyes, you know, the black eyeliner, and yeah, sort of stylish era, I think. So yes, definitely one worth pulling up. So right, there we go. Okay, made a hideous job of cutting down there as well. Again, I will tidy that up, but I probably wait for it to dry now because you know, cutting whilst the glue is wet is, I find, not great. Right, let me just check the time. Okay, that's fine. So we will decorate one up now, as we like to do in our mass making. Now what I think I'll do is decorate up this one. The reason being is because I kept hold of the little scrap of, you know, the collage paper that we used, because that's just going to help to sort of tie that in quite nicely. So just going to tear that down there, and then I'm just going to tear this like that. A bit more. So we can have that just there. So I'm just going to glue that on again so that I'm just straight away committing then to that. Okie dokie. So we'll pop that down like that. And then might have a bit of doily if I got some handy. Hold on. Okay. Now, I've got a new digi in my shop, which is dictionary definitions. I will hopefully get round to doing a launch for these, because I think we could have quite a bit of fun with these. But basically, they're little dictionary definitions. They're my made-up definitions. I mean, hopefully they are vaguely what the words mean. But yeah, I think they're really cute and really fun to use. So as I say, I'm hoping to do like an actual video specific to these, but I haven't got round to doing that yet because I've only just put them in there. But I think they're going to be quite a useful little piece to use in your journals. I mean, just like that looks really pretty, doesn't it? And that word says wonderful. But as you can see, you've got quite a few in different sizes and styles. So you've got them with like thinner just borders, and you've got them with thicker sort of frames. And then there also are just 4 which are unbordered, so you can just cut them out, or you could tear around them so that you could just, you know, place them on. But I just think they're really nice, and you know, I think they're going to prove really useful kind of on a whole variety of different you know, embellishment pieces and styles. So yeah, if you wanted to have a look, they're in my shop, and they're just a 1-page PDF download with a whole bunch. I think it's like 27 or something different definitions. Don't quote me on that. Just for some reason 27 is ringing a bell, but I could be completely wrong. So I'm thinking like that. So I'm going to glue the doily piece down. Actually, before I glue that down, I'm going to just ink up the book page, because I don't overly want to ink up the doily again, because the doily is actually quite, you know, quite coffee dyed already. It's dark enough. It doesn't really need anything more on there. Oops. Yes, I've put quite a few different things in my shop recently, what I would describe as like add-on pieces. So, I mean, obviously you've got your kits, and, you know, you've got your fussy cuts, and you've got often background papers with matching or coordinating fussy cuts and things like that. But I've put in quite a few generic add-ons, I guess is what I would describe them as, because I think they give quite a lot of versatility. So you've got obviously the labels that are in all the different colours. You've got the blue, the pink and the green. and I've put in the tickets, obviously, and you've got a plain set and a floral set, and also the did I ink this ticket, this definition? I think I did. And you've also got the butterflies. So you've got quite a few sort of generic items there. You've got obviously the words, and then I've put some stationery type bits in as well recently. So you've got those. Yeah, quite a few sort of just generic pieces that hopefully would just go with a whole variety of journals and maybe scrapbooks, and I mean even cards and things like that. So hopefully there's plenty there to be, you know, having a bit of fun with and using on a whole bunch of projects. So right, I was going to put that there. Now I'm not so sure whether to put it there or there. Do you know what? I'm going to have to stand up and look down on it, because again, often you really do get a different feel when you look down. That's that, and that's that. I mean, to be honest, I don't think there's much in it, but I think I will cover up here because it's a bit texty. If that makes sense. Yeah, and particularly all those little bits go really well with lots of the collage sheets and things like that. So they're quite nice for just having a bit of a play. And obviously there's the photographs and things like that as well. So you've got quite a lot of, you know, pieces that you could really play around with and make your own bits and pieces, you know, without using a sort of complete kit. So, and obviously hopefully you can mix and match them in with the kits as well. There we go. Okay, so that's that piece, which I think just looks really, really pretty now. And if I just bring in, I'm just going to bring in some of my photographs. So these are my architecture photographs, and just to kind of give you an idea. So you could have that, for instance, and let's say this one. Oops, that's postman. Hold on. Okay, sorry about that. So yeah, you could obviously pop in, you know, photograph there and photograph there. So looks really, really pretty, doesn't it? Now, again, I haven't really got a journal on the go, but I do have some folded pages ready to stitch in. So I'll just show you how that would look there. So that's how that would look on a page. So really, really pretty. So yeah, I hope that you enjoyed the mass making today, and hope that you managed to get lots done. And hopefully you'll join me again soon. Thanks very much then. Bye.